Hi guys, I'm Mariam Yassin, your physics teacher, and I will explain with you our new lesson, Resistor. As usual, I will start by mentioning the objectives of our lesson. Define a resistor will be our first objective. Symbol, unit, measurement will be our second objectives. And our third objective is to state Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? We will finish our lesson by the fourth objective, how to determine the equivalent resistance of a grouping of resistors. It means if I have two resistors or more, can I replace this group of resistors with only one resistor which has the same effect in the circuit? Yeah, let's discover now. I will start by the first objective, a notion of resistor and resistance. What is a resistor? What is the difference between resistance? What is the role of this component, of this new component in a circuit? I will explain what is a resistor by explaining this slide. What do we have in this slide? In this slide, I have a battery, I have a lamp, I have a switch, and a meter. Notice that the ammeter is connected in series, and the of the ammeter is connected to the negative of the battery, so it will display a positive reading. I have respected the polarity of the ammeter, and the mode of functioning of the ammeter is DC mode. The current sent by the battery based on the display of the ammeter is 0.9 ampere. It means this is the same current passing through the lamp. Why? Because these two components are connected in series, and we know that in series we can apply the law of uniqueness of current in the circuit. So after introducing the component X, we observe that the display of the ammeter becomes 0.3 ampere and the brightness of the lamp becomes less. So what is the role of this component in the circuit? I will re-explain what happens in the last slide by this table. This table informs us that before introducing the component X, the current was 0.9 ampere. After introducing X, it becomes 0.3 ampere, and the brightness of the lamp becomes weak. So this component X will decrease the current in the circuit and will decrease also the brightness of the lamp. This component X is called resistor. This slide will explain what is a resistor. So we know that the voltage will push the current. The voltage means the difference between a plus or minus تاع الباتري will push the current. But a resistor will try to oppose to this current, will try to reduce this current, will try to disturb this current. So the current will become less. So what is a resistor? A resistor is an electric component of two identical terminals. I will explain in details what I mean by this sentence, two identical terminals. A resistor will reduce the electric current in a circuit. It's used to control the amount of current in the circuit. Resistor in Arabic means مقاوم. مقاوم يعني في بالنسبة له عدو. مين عدو للريزستور؟ The enemy of the resistor is the current. ما بدنا ننسى هيدا الشيء. So current والresistor بالسيركت هن enemies. هلا the reduction of the current will produce heat. Why? هلا تخيلوا معي إنه we have a resistor وقف على الباب. current want to flow through the door. We know that the current هو electrons, هن flow of electrons. So electrons بدهم يمرقوا والresistor will try to oppose to the flow of the electrons. So حيصير في احتكاك contact between electrons and resistor. هيدا contact will produce heat. So another role for the resistor is to convert electrical energy into heat. برأيكم هيدا الشيء منيح؟ الهيت it's a good. Our answer will be good for some application and harmful for other applications. For example, it's good for me to produce heat while using radiator, while using iron, while using heater, but it's not good for me to produce heat while using my laptop. Laptop contains a resistor, and if the resistor produce a lot of heat, will be catastrophic. Yeah. So another slide to explain the same concept. The voltage will push the electrons. The resistor will try to oppose to the electrons. So the current يلي كان هون huge quantity will become less. Another slide to explain the same concept. The voltage will push the current. The resistor will oppose to the current. Now, this is the resistor, a real resistor. These are two symbols of a resistor. واحد American, واحد Europe. For us, we can use any of these two symbols. هلا, the ability of a resistor to reduce the current, it's called resistance. And resistance, it's something can be measured in a circuit. The resistance is measured using a device called ohmmeter, and the unit is ohm. أكيد بنعرف إنه I can use a multimeter functioning as an ohmmeter. The polarity, before mentioning this information, the ohmmeter should be connected in parallel. Okay? يعني بكل تعرفنا عليه, we have voltmeter, ohmmeter, oscilloscope should be connected in parallel. بس عند الامmeter المسكين should be connected in series. But the polarity of the resistor is not important. يعني نحن when I want to connect a voltmeter كنت لازم انتبه ال V of the voltmeter وين بدي أعمل لها connection will come, لأنه if I interchange يعني ال V وصلتها على الماينس تاعه للباتري for example will come على البلاس, رح ال voltmeter will give me a negative reading. هون الريزستور no, for it it doesn't matter how can I connect the ohmmeter. اللي بهم بس إنه it should be connected in parallel. This is the symbol of a ohmmeter. This is a multimeter functioning as an ohmmeter. It's connected in parallel, and this is the symbol. Please, when I ask you to draw an ohmmeter, I mean draw the symbol of an ohmmeter. Okay? The SI unit is ohm. I have kilo ohm, mega ohm. To convert from kilo to ohm, نتذكر كيلو هو الكبير, أخذنا نحن الكبير بيضرب الصغير. So to convert from kilo ohm to ohm, I should multiply by 10 to the power 3. هلا, the value of a resistor is marked on the body of the resistor using colored ring. يعني هول colors are not arbitrary. هيك إنه إجا عباله يعمل لي brown و black. No. Each color has a meaning. If I have this order of colors, يعني brown, black, red, and that last one, last ring, بنقول له silver, so the value will be 1000 ohm. So, I want to explain the meaning of the terminals of the resistor are identical by this slide. What are the difference between these two ohmmeters? These two ohmmeters are connected in parallel through the same resistor, but in the second one, I interchange the resistor. So أنا قلبته. So I observe that I don't obtain, the ohmmeter will give me a positive reading. ما رح يعطيني negative reading. So أول meaning إنه polarity للأوميتر doesn't matter, يعني terminals of the resistor هن identical for me. وتاني meaning لهيدا الشيء إنه if I interchange a resistor in a circuit, this will not affect the sign of the current and the voltage in a circuit. Okay? Yeah. I will start by the third objectives, Ohm's law. Ohm's law will describe a relation between the current traversing a resistor and the voltage across it. a resistor. So I have three elements in Ohm's law: the voltage across a resistor, the current passing through a resistor, and the resistance of a resistor. To explain Ohm's law, I will do a very small experiment. In this experiment, I have a battery, I have a resistor, voltmeter connected parallel على resistor, وعندي ammeter. My switch is open, so there is no flow of current in the circuit. عشان هيك the ammeter will display 0, the voltmeter will display 0. I close the switch. The voltmeter will display 1.5 volt. It means the voltage across the resistor it's 1.5 volt, and the current in the circuit is 0.25 ampere. If I change the battery, يعني أنا غيرت الباتري, so the voltmeter will display 3 volt and the current becomes 0.5 ampere and so on. I change the value another time and another time. هلا I think it's not practical for me to change. يعني I disconnect the battery and I connect another battery. هو ما له شيء كتير practical. For that in physics I have a DC power supply, a variable power supply. It means it's an adjustable battery. يعني I can adjust, I can choose the value of the voltage I want. This is a DC. يعني if I choose, for example, 5 volt, during all my experiment, the value of the battery will be 5 volt. I can change the value. This is the symbol of the variable power supply. رح زيد الارو بس to tell the reader إنه I have a variable power supply. هلا this is my circuit. I have a resistor, I have a voltmeter parallel to the resistor, an ammeter, and a variable power supply. This is the table. This is the table where I have picked all the values of my experiment. I noticed that if the voltage across the resistor increases, the current through the resistors increases, but the ratio current to voltage remains constant. So when the voltage across the battery increases, the voltage across the resistor increases, the current through the resistor increases, but the ratio U over I remains constant. I can read this slide in other way. I can say when the voltage across the battery decreases, the voltage across the resistor decreases, the current through the resistor decreases, but the ratio remains constant. This ratio is called resistance R. And if I do a crisscross multiplication, I will obtain U equal RI, اللي هو Ohm's law for me. I will re-explain Ohm's law using a graph. If I want to draw a graph showing the variation of the voltage as a function of I. So, in the x-axis, I will put the value of the current, and the y-axis the value of the voltage, and I will put each point. If I connect all the points together, I will obtain a graph called characteristic current voltage of a resistor, and it's a straight line passing through the resistor, through the origin. يعني إذا أنا عندي resistor I want to draw the graph showing the variation of the voltage and the current through this resistor, إجباري يطلع معي straight line passing through the origin. هذا straight line equation اللي قال y equal ax. A بالماث هي slope. In physics it will be the resistance, and this is Ohm's law. Ohm's law means the voltage across a resistor and the current passing through the resistors are proportional. يعني بيكبروا مع بعض وبيصغروا مع بعض. بس R هي coefficient fixed constant. Okay? وهيدا triangle تاعول Ohm's law. It's clear? Thank you.